Alright, hello everyone and welcome to WWE Discussion. I'm your host and WWE Teacher's Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Monday Night Raw, July 11th, 2020, or not July 11th, July 10th, 2023 edition. It's the 11th when this episode is being recorded. So the July 10th edition of Monday Night Raw was focused on continued conflict among some of the major stables of the Red Brand. We had some potential turmoil within Imperium. Gunther questioning Giovanni's work as Vinci and Kaiser would fall to the makeshift tag team of Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle. Judgment Day had Finn Balor and Damian Priest continuing to butt heads, but they would come together in the end and pick up a win in the main event. Meanwhile, Ripley has some new rivals in Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Ricochet would make a statement by standing up to Logan Paul, and Zoe Stark would pick up the biggest win of her career over Becky Lynch. So overall, an eventful night of action that continues to solidify the biggest stories on Monday Night Raw. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with a make-or-break opportunity for Ricochet. So the match at SummerSlam is not official, but we all know it's a matter of when, not if, this match gets made official. Ricochet versus Logan Paul. And Ricochet is one of the smoothest athletes in WWE, but he's been kind of sitting on the sideline in recent years. Even his brief return to NXT could not push him back into the spotlight. It felt like maybe that tag team he had with Braun Strowman might have went somewhere. Unfortunately, Strowman went down with injury. But that could be changing with this feud with Logan Paul. The Maverick could have feuded with anybody going into SummerSlam, and it looks like he chose the one and only for a reason. What that reason is, I'm not entirely sure, but maybe it's because these two, their styles mesh well together. Paul is the rare athlete that can match Ricochet in the ring. The two at SummerSlam could have a classic high-flying show stealer similar to Ricochet's battles with Will Ospreay in 2017. When all is said and done, Ricochet will be in the best position of his career, win, lose, or draw. It will be up to him and WWE to take advantage of the opportunity, or take advantage of it. You take advantage of the opportunity, and this is a chance to make Ricochet a main event act. However, if he falls back down the card, he might not get another chance like this. And then, do not break up Imperium. Maybe add a new member. I wouldn't say it's necessary, but whatever you do not break up Imperium. So WWE has teased breaking up multiple stables recently. Tension between Finn Balor and Damian Priest has almost pushed the Judgment Day over the edge. Meanwhile, Gunther, he was not happy with Giovanni Vinci on Raw, and it would be a mistake to disband Imperium. Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser are too good together to break up. Imperium as a whole hasn't really reached its potential as a unit, but there's still time for them to do that. WWE might want to think about adding another member to the group, maybe somebody like Ilya Dragunov. However, Gunther did say in an interview that he did not want to add more members to the group, so that's kind of why it's a question mark. I don't think it's entirely necessary. I understand Gunther being upset with Vinci for taking a loss, but let's not break up Imperium. So as Drew McIntyre gears up to challenge the Ring General at SummerSlam for the Intercontinental title, that match is not official, but it's a matter of when, not if. Gunther should have a strong and steady crew to back him up. The Bloodline has shown how impactful a long-term stable angle can be, and WWE should not discount that by breaking up a group that has the kind of chemistry that Imperium has. Zoe Stark, looking like a bigger star on Monday Night Raw than she did in NXT. So Zoe Stark has picked up the biggest win of her career, defeating Becky Lynch in a competitive match. Stark's alliance with Trish Stratus has paid dividends and elevated her far beyond her position leaving NXT. She has looked like a star near the top of the division, while Stark's talent was never in question in NXT. Brand hardly took advantage of what she could do. She never got a serious NXT Women's Championship shot. While Lynch might get her win back before the feud is over, she is set to move up in the title scene. I don't think she'll be challenging for the Women's World Championship anytime soon, but if Trish Stratus sticks around after SummerSlam, perhaps Stratus and Zoe could be the next Women's Tag Team Champions. I don't know what the plans are for Stratus after SummerSlam, if she's going back into retirement or what, but again, if she sticks around, Women's Tag Team Championships are certainly an option. And then lastly, we have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez. So, is this going to be the Women's World Championship match at SummerSlam? We shall see. It certainly is looking to play out that way. And if there's Ripley can elevate Rodriguez into a perennial world title contender. So Ripley has been awaiting her first true challenger since being crowned the Women's World Champion. Selena Vega and Natalya did their best to compete with her, but really neither had a chance to dethrone her. Insert Raquel Rodriguez, who is the rare woman that can match Ripley's power in the ring. If you remember, back in NXT, those two produced some good matches back then. That solidified Rodriguez as the future of NXT. Ripley can once again elevate her to the next level. Done right, this could be the feud that makes Rodriguez a perennial title contender for both brands. She has fresh matchups across both brands, especially once she and Liv drop the Women's Tag Team Championships. So Ripley versus Rodriguez could also lead to Ripley versus Morgan, which are both important Women's Championship matches in the Raw Women's Division. The question is, if you are going to do Ripley versus Morgan, which one would come first? Would you have Rhea Ripley run through Liv Morgan first, and then have her face Raquel Rodriguez? Is there enough time to make that happen? Or is that maybe a post-SummerSlam thing with Ripley versus Morgan? We shall see how that one plays out. Until Becky Lynch is available, which currently she's not, which kind of feels like a missed opportunity. Like, I understand Lynch versus Stratus 3 is a huge get for the SummerSlam card, but it also kind of feels like a miss at the moment when you have Seth Rollins feuding with the Judgment Day, and Becky Lynch would certainly make sense as a female companion to compete alongside Seth Rollins. But Becky Lynch unavailable at the moment, so but in her place you have a couple strong challengers in Morgan and Rodriguez. So in conclusion, this week's Raw was heavy on the non-wrestling segments, but that's not always a bad thing when the right stories are being moved forward. Stark and Lynch had a great showing, but match of the night probably goes to Miz versus Ciampa. They certainly made good use of the no DQ stipulation during the second half to make it a chaotic encounter that left the door open for potentially one more showdown in the future. Bronson Reed randomly going back to being paired with The Miz makes zero sense, but I don't know, we'll see how it plays out, but at the moment it makes zero sense and looks like a bad booking decision. SummerSlam is still a few weeks away, so the feuds that have already been established are in a sort of a holding pattern at the moment. But as the weeks pass and we get closer to SummerSlam, the card will start to get priority over the filler segments that will be kept to a minimum. Over the filler segments. So the segment that could have gotten the most attention from this episode of Raw was the one between Logan Paul and Ricochet. They set the stage for their SummerSlam match, and all WWE needs to do is make it official, along with other matches for SummerSlam, like Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, like Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley, like what was the other one? There was another one. Gunther versus McIntyre, that's what it was. So over the few weeks, expect the SummerSlam card to be filled up. Nothing is official at the moment, but again, expect that to change. And with that, this will wrap up. With that, I'll go ahead and wrap up this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.